All right. Welcome to episode 1 of the Armchair Warriors podcast. We got a lot lined up for episode 1, including our first ever interview. So, my name's Dylan, currently a broadcasting student at MRU. Sorry. To my right here.
My name's Luke. I am a business student at MRU. This program has no affiliation with MRU.
Yeah, no, not one. And I didn't mean to cut you off there twice. That was my bad. I did it a couple times. But yeah, so that's us basically, and we're gonna sit here and talk some hockey and talk about anything else we can kind of get our hands on. But yeah, what do we have lined up today, Luke?
Starting us off, most beautiful time of the year, right around Christmas. It's not Christmas, but
absolutely
the World Juniors.
We love the World Jays.
Yeah.
Great time of year. Christmas, New Year's, Boxing Day, hockey. Doesn't get much better than that.
No, but it's almost right around. It's become part of the holidays, especially at our house.
Yep, it's hard to not sit down and watch hockey. A little bit harder when it's in Sweden and you're behind a billion hours, but oh well, you make it work.
Waking up at 6 a.m. was a grind, but
it was a bit of a grind. But
those boys are going through it too, and
oh yeah,
Canada did not get the result they wanted.
Yeah, let's hop into that World Juniors talk because man, what a lackluster performance from Canada. Very boring one as a Canadian watching. It felt like one of the more lackluster ones of the last few years, but that's because our boys got bounced in the quarterfinal.
Yeah, and it just doesn't help. There was no excitement around the team. There was missing a lot of NHL guys. Yeah. There was no it factor guy. It was missing a lot of they had a very deep forward roster, a really deep decor, but they just were not at all they're missing that star talent. It doesn't help that we've had Bedard to watch the last 2 years.
Yeah, and when you kind of compare your Celebrini wearing his cage and you're like, where's our Bedard bubble? You're like, we want that it guy. And again, nothing against the boys that went over to Sweden and played hockey. Like, good group.
Very
good players, and there was just obviously something missing when it comes to there really wasn't a guy that you looked down the bench and you're like, we need you to go score. It just didn't feel like there was that guy. So unfortunately for Canada, early exit.
And on the quarterfinal side, we've seen our fair share of bounces go our way, especially the last couple of years.
Yeah, Slovaks.
One finally went the other way, and that's what it is. That's the game of hockey. If we knew who was going to win, we wouldn't play.
Yeah, wouldn't sit down and watch it either. So
going towards the States. What a run. They were stellar team.
Good squad. Fun squad, too. I mean, you just kind of look down. Lots of college guys, obviously. Guys that played together like Smith and Perot and all those guys together. So, good squad there. Unfortunately, Canadian, you hate to see them win, but, man, they were fun.
Yeah. And everyone has been just kind of talking about the classlessness of their winning, and personally, I'm a huge fan of it.
You can't do anything, but you lost. Like, you sit there, you lost, you kind of have to take it. Those boys, we're literally watching teenagers play hockey. Like, they're going to express themselves as much as they want to express themselves. And, again, as a Canadian, you're like, oh, classless, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, those boys are out there having the time of their lives, so you can't really fault them for it.
Yeah, most guys that go, the very few that do get to go, only go once in their lives.
Yeah.
Even less go twice. So for them to go in and win, especially after losing to Sweden in the U18s 2 years prior,
exactly,
it's just a huge win. And we talk about them we want players to express their personalities more, and then as soon as they do it, we kind of roast them for it. And I don't really think that's really all that.
The hockey world is definitely very bipolar with personalities. So. Yeah, I think those guys going over to Sweden and getting the job done after that 04 group lost to Sweden in the U18s, I think it was pretty fun to sit down and watch those guys play. But, yeah, Sweden could not get the job done on home soil, unfortunately. But
nope, and a huge fan of the Czechs and the Slovaks. It's their progression over the last 4 or 5 years has just made this team or this tournament so much more exciting to watch.
Yeah, 100%. And just imagine if we could throw a Russian group in there. I mean, obviously, politics and whatnot, not to dive deep into that, but man, would that tournament be even more fun with Canada, the United States, Sweden, Russia, Finland, Czech, Slovaks. That's 7 teams that could get the job done and with no problems at all. So I think the tournament is getting more and more fun every year, and obviously some of the top guys we're losing to the NHL, but that's just how talented some of these younger guys are. So
Yep. No, and yeah, it's we really thought Benson was going to be back. We had suspicions that Antilli Wright and Bernard were all going to be gone, and then losing Tristan Luneau and even Kevin Korchinski, definitely thought he was going to be back. Those are two staples on the back end that would have done a ton for Team Canada.
But it would have been big for sure. Really
so
big.
States win, move on to next year. I think Canada's going to have a lot stronger team next year. They get a lot more guys returning.
Mm-hmm.
States are going to be strong again next year. Swedes are going to be strong again. I'm excited.
Yep.
It's going to be good.
We're only a few hundred days away from the next World Juniors, so should be fun. Speaking of some international play, women's U18s is on right now, and there are some really talented girls playing. What do we think?
First off, the women's tournament itself has just been electric. Canada's been steamrolling over this tournament, and good to see is the States have kind of had the edge in international play over the last little bit, but Canada's coming up with, they've got some great players, starting with two big ones that we're going to talk about today, but starting off with Chloe Primerano. She has been
unreal.
She's a 2007, so she has another year of eligibility at the U18 level. This year in the U18 CSSHL League, she has got a 20-point lead on the point race, and she is a defenseman. She is a 17-year-old, not even 17, 16-year-old defenseman playing U18, and she is leading the tournament in stats. She's got 12 points with 5 goals and 7 assists through 4 games, and is an astounding plus 15 leading the tournament.
And she's drafted to the Dub. I mean, she is unbelievable. Just on the back end, she's unbelievably skilled offensively. I mean, she kind of does it all in the O-zone. She'll go score. She'll make plays. She's extremely smart offensively and a very fun young player to watch at the international level.
Yeah, and then another player off Team Canada that drew a lot of attention last year with her playing the tournament. This year has set the goals record, I think, for the most goals in her U18 career at the international level, picking up 8 goals through 4 games. It is Caitlin Kramer.
No apples. Does not like to pass a puck. Respect that, though. You find the back of the net. That's good stuff. Also, we forgot to mention about Primerano. Her scoring a hat trick. She was the only defenseman to ever do it at the U18s, the women's U18s. I just wanted to point that out because that's pretty big accolade right there.
No, that's insane. Yeah, but Canada's shaping up to look real good. They're playing, I think, Czechia in the semis.
Yeah.
And then on the other end of that semi is the States and Finland. What are we thinking about that States team coming up?
Oh man, they got some good players. I think they're almost as skilled as Canada, so I think that'll be our final is what I'm kind of picturing. Yeah, obviously, you get the Canada States final in most things, so it'll be good to see that game. I'm excited to watch it on the weekend.
Yeah. Then there was a clip surfacing about Margaret Scannell, the captain of the States.
I forgot to mention that.
That clip was insane. Her edge work,
so smooth.
And she's been having a sneaky good tournament too. She's got 3 goals and 4 assists for 7 points through 4 games, and helping out the States go to a plus 17 goal differential through 3 games in the preliminaries, and then Canada picking up a plus 28 goal differential. Both teams going 3-0. Should be a really good final, if barring no upsets. Assuming the Czechs and the Finns don't win.
Can't count out the Czechs. Obviously, they got some good players on their team as well. Some in the top 10 in scoring in that tournament. I'm not 100% sure who it is exactly, but I know there's a few in the top 10 in scoring in that tournament. So obviously some good players on the Czech team. So
and a relatively young team.
Yeah,
there was a lot of 2008s on that roster, which would be double underage at this tournament.
Yeah, so there's some good players coming out of the Czech program over there for the women's team. So you never know with hockey. I mean, it's very crazy sport, so anything can happen on that ice on Saturday when those semifinals go underway. I think we got Canada-Czechia at 7 in the morning Mountain Standard Time, and then Finland-USA at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Yeah. So 2 good games this weekend. Should be a good semifinal final matchup.
Staying on the track of women's hockey, moving over to the new league.
Oh yeah.
Getting fired up in collaboration with the NHL. The first league to have what is it called? The Players Association. First league, women's league, to have a Players Association.
Okay, yeah.
There we go. PW.
We love some PWHL hockey around here. Man, some of these girls are talented. I shouldn't even say some of them. All of them are unreal. This is some good hockey going on.
Did you get a chance to watch one of the games?
I watched the first one. I don't remember the teams that played.
It was New York and
Toronto, maybe. Yep, I seen like Sarah Nurse and all them duking it out. It was awesome. They're playing at TMU's barn in Toronto.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
They're at Toronto Metro.
Yeah.
But man, some of these girls are really good. And speaking of the first game, sorry, when I was watching it, I'm like there is some fair amount of contact going on. No whistles either, and I'm like, this is fun. I do enjoy the contact part of sports. I mean, especially hockey.
It's a huge part of the men's game. It's a huge part of the game in general.
The game itself.
And the league hasn't shied away from it.
No.
They have fully embraced it. They're posted about the refs putting away the whistles. It almost seems like as long as you're avoiding that big open ice stuff, there's still a lot that's fair game, which it makes it a lot more exciting.
Yeah, man. There are some fun games going on. Lots of good highlights. I mean, it's really fun. I really do enjoy seeing that stuff on my Instagram feed, Twitter feed. Like there are some really skilled plays going on out there.
Minnesota off to a 3-0 start, and
Squad.
holy moly, what a crowd!
Squad, yeah, filling up Xcel Energy Center in Minnesota. So awesome. I think that is so cool. I mean, just the atmosphere there too. Like Minnesota, when you think Minnesota, you're thinking hockey.
Yeah, especially when you're from Canada.
That's
the only thing you know about
Minnesota.
The
only thing you know about Minnesota is they love their hockey down there, and they are loving the PW down
I know the season's early, but for 3 games in at this point, I think most teams, 2 out of your 3-point leaders are on that Minnesota team in Grace Sumwinkle and Taylor Heisey.
I mean, when you talk about Taylor Heisey, like just unbelievably skilled. I mean, she makes something out of nothing constantly.
Yeah. There's a reason she was picked first overall.
100%. I mean, she was unreal in college too. Zumwinkle just puts the puck in the back of the net. I mean, 3 games played, 4 goals scored, no assists, just a purebred goal scorer. So I think that Minnesota team is really fun to watch.
Yeah, and then tied up at the top of the leaderboard for points is a true Canadian legend, Marie-Philippe Poulin.
Oh man,
just Canada represent, get a little bit of that up there.
Gotta love it.
Longtime legend for the Canadian Olympic team, Canadian international team, and just doing what she does best.
Still doing her job. I mean, she's always fun to watch. Like when you think Canadian women's hockey, international hockey, Haley Wickenheiser, Marie-Philippe Poulin. I mean, those are 2 staples in women's hockey, and man, she is still fun, still just buzzing around out there. I mean, it's awesome.
So, what do you think that they go to? Where do you think they go next? I know it's early. I like the way it's going with the PW, and I think it's going to be successful. And I like the way they're managing it.
Yeah.
But what do you think could be kind of their expansion? Like, where do you think they go from here?
Well, they have kind of the staples in hockey, like Minnesota, Toronto, New York, Boston, Ottawa, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be fun to see them. Obviously, they're mostly on the East Coast.
That helps with travel and
yeah. So it's nice for them to kind of stay in that little area. Obviously, being selfish, I'd love to see them come to Western Canada. Like, I'd love to go catch a game myself. So, I mean, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, like places like that would be fun.
And let's say that the league grows exponentially,
right?
And no longer is money or travel or any of that type of stuff or contract stuff that's an issue. Just that's kind of where I'd want to see it go to, is like bring it out west.
I'd love to see it out west.
Have one in Calgary.
Yeah, out west. I mean, Southern California too would be fun. Obviously, that's kind of where the game, like the NHL game, first kind of grew in '67. Obviously, you had
the Kings Michigan and stuff. Would also
Michigan would be so fun.
That would, with the college town type vibe they got going there at some of their schools.
100%.
Move them in there with
because the women's hockey in Michigan too is like it's a very solid program. So 100%, if you go to Michigan with that league, that'd be fun. I would love to see that.
No, I'm a huge fan of the PW so far.
Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah,
great stuff out of them.
With that, we got our very first interview on the podcast. Bringing in my brother, playing in the WHL. He'll move us into some talk a little bit about life, talk a little bit about his season, his kind of career, how he's come along, and yeah, we got that coming up for you next. So here you go.
Okay, our next guest is a first-round WHL draft pick. He got picked 22nd overall. He's the captain of Team Alberta at the WHL Cup. He's in his second season with the Brandon Wheat Kings, collecting 26 points. From Sylvan Lake, Alberta, he's also my little brother, Caleb Hadland. Welcome to the podcast.
How's it going? Thank you. It's an honor.
Cool.
First guest. That's a big honor.
First guest.
Yep. Number one.
Hopefully get this shit started on the road.
Well, yeah, once you come back, that can be thrown in your little intro. Some accolades. Okay. First guest.
Yeah. First guest.
Cool. So you're from Sylvan Lake, Alberta. Just kind of, you want to walk us through what it's like? Yeah, I know. It's like a nice town.
Yeah.
You want to walk us through kind of what it's like growing up in a lake town that's really feeds into the teen life, and then kind of what the minor hockey was like there.
Sure. It's fun. Like, it's a little tourist town, just like central Alberta. There's nothing fancy about it, but lots of things to do. Like, we used to have big water slides there until those were, gone. They got too old, not too crippled, but we got a Wibbit going now. Fun to get out there and, throw the little cousins or the big brother off the obstacle course there. But, playing hockey in Sylvan, I had pretty good coaches all the way up. It's pretty close travel too, so it's nothing crazy. And then obviously going into Red Deer after that. And that was obviously a huge step in my career and helped me a ton to get where I am now and making that jump to the AAA program there. And they have it's a pretty special group that they have there, and definitely a lot of good hockey players coming out of that area.
Yeah. Some of the other notables being Talon Brigley playing with the Rebels and Justice Christensen playing with the Prince Albert Raiders, and then a bunch of guys playing in the AJ. And then after that, you were playing for Team Alberta in the WHL Cup, and you got announced as the captain. Can you kind of walk us through what your reaction was to that?
Oh, I shocked. Not a chance in the world when I was trying out for that team, but I thought I'm going to be the captain for this team. I was like, let me just crack the roster. And then, we got to the tournament, thank God. And stuff just started going the right way. And then we did a bunch of team building stuff in the hotel before the tournament to get us all, like a brotherhood, make us strong and connected. And one of those activities, they just announced who they were. And I honestly didn't really think about my name being called at all. But I guess they saw a little bit of leadership in me and picked me, and it was pretty cool. To represent your province like that is something not a lot of kids get to do, and to be one of them was pretty special.
Yeah, I remember that phone call very distinctly, and how surprised not just you but the whole family was. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, so speaking of WHL Cup, obviously we talked about you being on the Wheat Kings and being a first-round pick. Just kind of talk about how that process of being drafted was and how much excitement that there was in that day.
Sure. It was kind of a stressful day. Like, for a lot of young kids, it's something you dream of to play in the WHL, but I think I kind of went into it I might get drafted, I might not. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Like, if you work hard and you really want something, you can go get it. And there's a bunch of examples of players who don't get drafted or get drafted late and just develop later and come in. And for me, I guess I was lucky enough to go in the first round, which is pretty cool. It's the last pick, but I'll take it. It was a pretty cool moment where we're all sitting in the classroom with the boys down at Yale, and I just remember it was on the big screen in the class, and they heard this 22nd pick from Yale Hockey Academy. All the boys started looking around like, who is it? And I was kind of sitting in the back corner with my buddy Coy, and then my name got announced, and everyone kind of jumped on me and started celebrating. It was a pretty cool moment too.
No, I'm sure that's electric having your boys with you, being able to celebrate with them because they're the ones that you go through it all with and fight with day in, day out.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that was really cool. You mentioned playing at Yale, and you want to kind of just talk about what it was like playing at the academies and then having that experience at the Circle K Classic. I know your guys' was delayed until April because of COVID that year, but just kind of what it's like playing in a tournament that is that storied.
Yeah, it was a cool tournament for sure. Like, it's something that it's a staple in midget hockey in Canada, and then starting growing in the States too. But yeah, it was a weird year, obviously with COVID and everything. And our year was the first year that they let like the school academy teams in the tournament instead of it just being like local midget teams, whatever. So it was different. There was a bunch of new teams, us being included in that, and it was fun. Like we stayed at a pretty bougie hotel in Calgary, and it was great competition. Like we thought we were going in there and maybe whack the competition, but we kind of got turned around and ended up losing to a home crowd, which got us rattled. But it was a cool tournament, and to see like a bunch of my buddies like Coy and Justice, they really succeeded in that, and help them out for their futures too. So it's a big tournament, has a big name, and can really help get your exposure up, and it was super cool.
Yeah, obviously, really big tournament, and one of those things that most kids talk about when they're younger. That's one of the bigger tournaments in minor hockey and like academy hockey and stuff like that. But moving away from minor hockey and you playing in midget at Yale, I just kind of want to talk about your year in the Dub so far.
In the Dub,
Mhm.
it's fun. Like it's a grind. It's not. I wouldn't say it's easy at all. We're at it every day, working hard, and it's a job basically. Like it's tough to be a student athlete too. Like, I just wish I could be graduated right now. Getting up early for school is not my main priority. But the year's been good. Like I can't complain. I had a tough 16-year-old season, breaking my ankle and not really playing a whole lot. But this year's really turned things around, and with guys gone, there's lots more opportunity for me, and it's been going well. We have a good group of guys here, really solid bond between us, and just at the end of the day, they make it fun to come to the rink, and we have fun every day while we work hard and hope to get better.
Yeah, and you mentioned your injury, and that was at the U17 World Hockey Challenge in your second shift. So I know you didn't get to play a whole lot, but you still got to spend some time with the guys and go through that whole summer camp process. And what was it like meeting a bunch of the guys from the O and the Q that you don't necessarily get to see on a regular basis?
Yeah, it was different for sure. Like a lot of guys that you just hear of that are super nasty at hockey, and then you finally get to either be teammates with them or play against them. But it was a super cool experience. Like you said, I only got 2 shifts with the team, but just to throw the Maple Leaf on, like it was a surreal moment, and like something that I don't think I'll ever forget. And all the boys, they were super nice. We had a good team too, and just sucks that I couldn't be part of that winning team we had. But it was a lot of fun. It was super cool to see the process that Hockey Canada takes towards their players and their development, and looking back at it, like it's a moment that I'm never gonna forget.
Yeah, and speaking of you going to meet different guys at like the summer camps and stuff like that, when you kind of look back on all the locker rooms you've been through, is there like a guy that stands out to you that's been the funniest throughout your career, or is there maybe it's you, who knows?
Um, there's definitely a few. There's always a couple guys on every team that stick out to you. They just have a sense of humor on them. But teammate right now, Roger McQueen he is a character for sure. Great guy. He's just always witty and has something to say. So he's definitely been one of them. And then, the 2 guys we got this year, Hayden Wethen and Matthew Henry, they just found a special bond together. And in the room, they're always singing and dancing around and cracking jokes, whatever. So those are just some guys that this year that I think are pretty hilarious in the room, and they're just light to be around and make it fun.
Yeah, Matthew Henry being a known fighter, what's his personality off the ice? Kind of compared, like, is he that tough guy, or does he kind of got a soft side to him?
He's a mix of both, but I call him a softie. He's, he'll fight me for it, but like, he's a hard-working kid. He's very respectful and obviously raised well, and knows how to talk to adults. And well, he is an adult, but like he's very, very mature, very mature guy. But he does have that funny side to him, and just makes the room light. And he's always happy coming to the rink. So it's fun to have him around the rink, because he is known as a tough guy, but we like to joke around with him and call him princess and whatnot. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah. Props to Matthew Henry being a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
So what kind of team building have you guys been doing lately? You guys been seeing movies, doing like what have you guys been doing?
Yeah, we try and get out with each other quite a bit. Just build team morale. We usually go. We've done a couple things, like we go. Like, we'll just go hang out at guys' houses. Like, we'll go play cards, have a poker night. We go to the movies every once in a while, watch some movies, and just get out. Really, we go golfing in the summer. Like, at the start of the season, we go golfing together, and just a bunch of team building stuff. Like, get to know each other, get comfortable, and that translates on the ice.
And so back to the on ice stuff. Obviously, you're more of a two-way forward type of guy. Like, you're shutting guys down, and you're going to go score as well. So playing in the East, obviously you got these juggernauts of teams like Moose Jaw. They got Matejchuk, Jaeger, Furcus, now Savoy. Same with Swift Current. They're super deep. Got Geeky now. What is it like playing against those top lines night in, night out?
It's a challenge. Like, it's not easy. You're looking at the roster and you're pretty intimidated. Like, those guys are all, top 15 or top first round draft picks in the show, and most of them are World Junior players. So, being out on the ice against them is pretty cool. Like, damn, like, you just got back from the World Juniors, but I have to try and shut you down to the best of my abilities. But it's definitely, like, it's a challenge for me, like, being a younger guy. But I think it's fun, and I think I'll learn a lot from it. It'll just make me a better player going forward.
Yeah. So you mentioned that a lot of those guys have gone really high in the NHL draft. It's your draft eligible year. What has the process kind of looked like leading up to the draft, and how do you kind of handle that?
Yeah, there's a lot to it. I'm not a first round, second round type guy, right? But, like, I know, like, a close buddy of mine, Charlie Alec, he's going through the same process right now, and I just know that his phone is off the hook right now, and then getting a lot of interviews and questionnaires and whatever with different teams, and it's just, I've had a couple of them, and it's a little bit stressful. Like, it's cool to see that NHL teams are reaching out, but at the end of the day, like, I think I just take it as it's like they're just people, really. Like, in a sense, you kind of get that, like, they're just people talking to you, and you just kind of have a conversation about hockey and interests and whatever. But I don't think there's really much to be scared about. And it's just the process. And at the end of the day, it's like, if they like you, they like you. If they don't, I guess it wasn't the right fit. So that's kind of how I approach it. I don't know if that's the right way or not. That's how I'm taking it. Trying my best. And hopefully have a chance at getting drafted.
And speaking on the draft, obviously, your now former teammate Nate Danielson was drafted in the top 10 last year by the Red Wings. How is the team kind of dealing with the trade itself? I know you guys are a relatively close group, and you and Nate obviously train in the off season together and whatnot around the same area. How is that kind of going down in the locker room, and how are you guys dealing with that?
Yeah, it was kind of a quiet day today. He got traded last night, so most of us tried to get out and say goodbye to him before he left this morning. But it's just a different environment around the room. Like he's such a good leader and fills gaps in the room. And without him there, everyone's kind of got to take a step up and fill some roles. But I think our team's we're not like quitting on each other. We have a lot of confidence in one another and our ability to play with each other without Nate there, with him gone at World Juniors camp at the start of the year. We could hold our own and succeed to the best of our ability. So I think we're holding our own right now, and we're going to keep battling and play the Brandon Weeking hockey and fill in where things are missing.
Yeah, one of your strengths this year, all year long, has been the forward depth. So I'm sure you guys will be fine. But talking about how unreal Danielson is, what was it like being able to train with him and have some insight into what it takes to be like what he is?
Yeah, Danny's he's like growing up in Red Deer. Obviously, he's a couple years older than me. So when I was in Pee Wee and he was on the Bantam AAA team, like you look up to him and you're like, this kid is unreal, and he was playing in the dub like the year after or whatever it was. And he's been a guy that like I've always looked up to, and I've always tried to follow in his footsteps. Maybe a little close, like getting drafted to Brandon as well. But it's pretty cool. Like he is a guy that has he's made a name for himself, and to be able to work out with him in the summer and just become close friends with him is pretty sweet. And something that's part of the hockey world. Like you meet a bunch of new people, and I honestly, if you would ask me like when I was in Pee Wee, like I would have never thought I would become this close with Nate, and I would honestly just be excited to see the guy walk by.
So, yeah, talking about Nate in his minor hockey days and in Pee Wee, I'm pretty sure that he put up 5 points a game against our team in Pee Wee. We played him maybe 4 times in a year, and I'm fairly certain he had at least 20 points.
Yeah.
But moving a bit away from hockey, you've covered most of your career and a lot of your hockey stuff. What kind of music have you been vibing with lately? Are you a country guy? Are you a big hip hop guy? They're talking on the Chicklets podcast today about big booty mixes.
Oh, okay. We usually country guy. Like most of the time, it's been country a lot lately. But I think in the room, it's been a lot of like party mixes and just late, like early 2000 pop, like R&B type vibes. So kind of been in that vibe for the past couple of weeks. And just we don't really listen to big booty mixes. Like we'll throw one every once in a while when we're playing sewer. But we're pretty big into like some Nickelback and AC/DC before games, and we like to get pretty fired up. So a lot of EDM and fast music.
So age-old question: who's running the aux in the room?
Right now it's Roarsma. Yeah. He's our go-to for game day or before practice or whatever. Hank or Weds will hop on every once in a while and play their special songs they got and sing and dance around, but consistently it's Roars.
Nice. Then one last question here before we let you go. Just for all the movie lovers out there and kind of the latest movies, what's been your favorite so far? Say out of the last 2-3 years.
Oh, out of the last decade, it's got to be Anyone But You. It's unbelievable, man. Like Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell, they're a dynamic duo.
Oh,
and our team went and watched that movie in theaters just last week, and it's kind of funny. We all walk in. There's a bunch of big 6'3", 200-pound men now, and not me, but some of the other guys. And we're walking in there, and it's a packed theater. We had to sit in the second front row, and we kind of stop, look up, see how packed it is, and it's all teenage girls with their moms and little sisters or whatever, and it's just a bunch of, there's probably 15 of us walk in there. We're just like, how's it going? Go sit down second row and just killing ourselves laughing at the movie. So that's definitely a fun memory for our team, and a movie that we're all kind of in love with right now.
Yeah, nothing like going to the movies and seeing the Wheat Kings roll in to sit down and watch a rom-com. Rom-coms are making a comeback, apparently. So I've heard.
Oh, they are. You guys have to get out and watch it.
Yeah, maybe we'll go dabble in it. Maybe rent it tonight, see what's up.
Yeah.
Super cold, so got to shut her down.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all we got for you. We really do appreciate you taking this 30 minutes out of your day to sit down and be our first guest, number one.
It is an honor.
We're glad it was you. Happy it was you. But I really appreciate you taking some time out of your day and sitting down, chatting some hockey with us.
Well, no, I thank you, boys. Hopefully we can, get this thing rolling and hopefully get some of the boys on this and see what they have to say.
Well, we would love to have Roger McQueen on the podcast and hear what he has to say about some stuff.
Oh boy. Yeah, we'll get that worked out.
Yeah, need to hear his Fortnite rank. I gotta hear it.
Oh.
And there we had our very first interview in Caleb, your brother. I mean, it feels good to get that one off the chest.
It feels great. Get it out of the not get it out of the way.
No,
We've been waiting for this for a long time.
We sure have.
Really excited.
Yeah.
It was a really good first interview. Caleb did a great job.
Yeah, he was awesome. Caleb, we swear we didn't want to get it over with. We had a lot of fun. We're happy you came and did that interview with us. Now, obviously, we talked about a lot of WHL stuff with Caleb in his interview. And speaking of WHL, we had the deadline just recently, and boy, oh boy, was there a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happened there. It was kind of crazy. East, quite a few different teams loading up.
Wagons.
Obviously, there's some teams in the West that loaded up too, and don't get me wrong, that whatever that conference finals even are going to be really good, and the finals are going to be unreal.
Going to be battles for sure.
But I was thinking, starting East. Yeah, and Swift Current, kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah, like just very swiftly out of nowhere.
Well done. They had scored a lot of goals this season, but their record didn't really reflect that. No. I don't think. And now that they brought in two very good defensemen, Dvorak, Kings pick.
Yep.
Maybe you know a little bit about him, being a huge Kings fan.
Yeah, I mean he's just a really solid, like rangy defenseman. I mean he was obviously a second-round pick for a reason, but yeah, just super smooth skater, really good with the stick. I mean somebody that'll just go down and shut down your top line. So yeah, I mean he's extremely, extremely good, and I think Swift did a good job getting his rights and getting him over into Swift Current.
Yeah, and then another defenseman that they added, Tyson Galloway from Calgary. He's a very good defenseman. And then what they traded, everything but the kitchen sink to pick up Connor Geekie.
Yep.
And boy, oh boy, is he a heck of a player. He's going to be like that Swift team has started to look like a wagon. Interesting to see how they do in the second half of the year. If they can just stop some pucks, keep them out of their net a little bit. That, with the moves they made, it brings their D-core now has 4 NHL draft picks, and all of them are 6'3" or bigger.
Yep.
And on top of that, they got 3 forward NHL picks, and Reed Dick, their goalie, also an NHL pick. So that puts them at 8 NHL picks.
That is a team that is just built for hard-nosed playoff hockey. They are big, skilled, fast. I mean, that is going to be a good squad come playoff time.
And not the team that everyone thought was going to be kind of that big team going into the playoffs. A lot of the people around the league talking about Saskatoon. Obviously, they're still phenomenal,
very good.
And so what they were a little more relatively quiet. They also had a very stacked squad to begin with, but they made some big moves. They got Suzdalevs right from the Pats, brought him back from Sweden. He's 90-point player last year. He's going to make a huge difference to them.
So good.
Then you bring in John Babcock, a very well-rounded shutdown. You're not scoring on him.
No.
And that makes their D-core very, very similar to Swift. They're having huge D-cores now when they have John Babcock, Charlie Wright, Tanner Molendijk when he comes back from injury, Ben Saunderson, Graydon Seatman. One of those guys is going to be on your third pair. And the fact that they could all be on a top pair on a lot of other WHL
most
teams.
Yeah.
And then Druziak in there as a sixth defenseman. He's a phenomenal player in himself. So he was big. And then the other big squad in the East that actually loaded up, the Moose Jaw Warriors.
Oh, and if they weren't loaded up enough, I mean, my goodness. Like, start with Matejchuk, Furcus, Yeager, and then you go out of your way to get
A fourth World Junior player.
Oh, like, just incredibly skilled, super fast. Like, Savoy just puts that team over the edge. I mean, they're unbelievable.
Yeah, they're going to be a squad to mess with. They also picked up Kovacevic and Evan May to back up Jackson Unger, because they were having a lot of problems with their backup goaltending. Wasn't exactly spectacular.
Yep.
But settled that down. It's going to be an absolute slugfest from here on out for those three teams. And Mad Hat's always sneaky good too. Never know what they're doing.
They're young, skilled. Never know.
Oh, yeah, and Regina and Calgary giving up on the season.
Yep, you can write them off maybe a little bit.
Shipping out all their stuff, but almost completes the playoff picture for at least who's in. Seeding, going to battle it out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, you never know with the seeding for sure.
Yeah, then we're going to move on to the West.
The West.
Where I want to talk about Prince George first.
Yep.
They're a good squad to begin with. The emergence of
Tarek
Parasak.
Yeah.
Played midget last year.
Yep.
Unlike a lot of other 06s in that league.
Uh-huh.
And now is leading all the 2006s anyways. He comes in his rookie season after another season of having his puck on his stick at midget hockey and having a really good midget season. But I think he set the CSSHL record for most points, which is quite impressive considering guys like McKenna and Bedard have been in that league.
Yeah, for sure they have.
Yeah, kind of out of nowhere. Helped out that PG team. Obviously missing Cohen Zemer's going to hurt.
Zemer is a big piece to that team. Obviously, he's very big, very skilled, plays a good game. So, I mean, yeah, you lose a guy like that definitely that hurts a playoff team for sure.
But they bring in Borje Valis on the front end, and he's a very good forward, very skilled from Regina. And Chase Paul is just another massive shutdown defenseman on their back end, and from Lethbridge, and he's a good player. And
they've been getting some solid goaltending too, for sure. Yeah. So that helps.
And then we talked about the Danielson trade with Caleb a little bit, and kind of what that's like for him and how that affects a room. And we don't really know because
we're not
in those rooms. But interesting to get a little bit of insight from a player like Caleb.
For sure.
And Portland didn't really make a ton of moves either.
No, they kind of made their one big splash, and that was kind of it for sure.
Yeah, but they are a deep team.
Very deep
squad. They are a very old, experienced team.
Oh, yeah.
They will be a force to be reckoned with, too.
Coming out of the West for sure. That's one of those teams, either PG or Portland is one of the teams to beat for sure, in my mind.
And then Vancouver, just kind of a tidbit here. They're sitting 8th.
Yeah.
I think the last time I checked, and they bring in Connor Levis and Tyson Zimmer. I know they're just getting Honzik back, which is a huge player.
Very big, very big.
But still, you're looking at that Portland and PG, and are they really going to make a run into that, even get into that conference final?
Yeah, that's a really tough one to kind of squeak through those two teams. I mean, as good as those three guys are that you kind of you're getting back Honzik and you're picking up those guys. I mean, the two other teams are just, with Portland and PG, they're so good.
Don't get me wrong. They got a goalie who seems like he could steal a series.
Oh, yeah.
Shutout, 48 save shutout versus the Brandon Wheat Kings the other week.
Yeah, I mean,
it was insane.
It's a big game for sure.
But helped carry on the scoreless streak for the Wheat Kings into the new year.
The Wheaties just couldn't score.
I sure got a kick out of it. But,
yeah, it was fun for sure.
I mean, sucks they lose, but whatever. We got that. And then just some other notable trades around the league. Laventure to the Royals. Jay Van Ohm going to the Chiefs from Medhat. And then Sador to the Hurricanes and Chagall to Lethbridge. So a little bit of 03 movement there in Lethbridge. And
just loading up on vets in Lethbridge.
Yeah, for not really sure why, but
mentor things, who knows? I mean, you don't know what the game plan is in Lethbridge, but
whatever, they think they can.
Yeah, if they can make a run,
they're doing what's best for their team, they think, and that's pretty much all you can do in that league.
Exactly.
So sticking with, now that we kind of covered what we think about the trade deadline, we're going to move into the news around the NHL.
Yeah, got to talk about the NHL.
It's
where do you even want to start?
It's been a while.
Just bonkers. Like we're barely to the halfway point.
Not even. really. The All-Star break's pretty much halfway. And
yeah, I mean, wow. This has been insanely crazy of first half of the NHL season, really.
Let's get started with the situation in Philly.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, we got Philly being surprisingly better than everyone thought this year.
Oh, man, snuck in. I think they're the second wild card spot right now.
First right now.
They're the first?
Yeah.
Yeah, good squad.
Yeah.
For some odd reason. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But a good squad that Cutter Gauthier does not want to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, just a big hater of Torts, I guess. I mean, I don't know what else. But, like, when you go to, like, he gets dealt Anaheim, obviously he doesn't have much of a say in it. But, I mean, you kind of have the same system over there with their new, I can't remember the Ducks head coach's name, but he's kind of got that fire where you kind of see what Torts does. But, yeah, Cutter does not want to be in Philly whatsoever.
A lot of Philly fans, real salty. Shout out to our boy Jay Soley.
Jace.
Yeah, he was not thrilled. But Drysdale, second-round pick, not a bad return.
I mean, if there's anybody that you're going to get, it's not a bad idea to bolster up your decor with Jamie Drysdale because he's a pretty good defenseman.
Yeah. Either way, some of the stuff Cutter's been saying, kind of contradicting himself.
Yeah, I mean, if you see the interviews, like, he was, I want to be a Flyer, I'm built to be a Flyer. And
my favorite team's the Penguins. I love Sidney Crosby. That doesn't fly in Philly.
Yeah, you're like, all right, dude. Like, what do you got going on here? But, yeah, I think, if that's what.
Either way, I respect the rock star shit.
That's
electric.
That's so awesome.
I mean, drama around the NHL. Like,
who doesn't love some drama?
Absolutely. And then he also talked about Kevin Hayes being, or he didn't say it.
He didn't say it, but he did come out and say that Hayes had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, he came out and said Kevin Hayes had nothing to do with it. The guy who started the rumor, but heard from a source and kind of got that thing going.
Mm-hmm.
In case you guys don't know, the Kevin Hayes, he got blamed by this reporter for being the reason that Cutter wanted out.
Yeah.
Cutter came out, said
no.
That's not why, but Torts just decided to attack.
Rock star. I mean, he's so for his guys, which I respect. That's awesome. He's gets up onto the podium post game. All the reporters are there for like, hey, talk about the game. He goes, "Where's the reporter guy?" and just rips him a new one. I think that's hilarious. I mean, go to bat for your guys. That's great. So I have nothing but respect for that idea for sure.
Then we listened to that reporter on a podcast today.
Yeah, it was talking about how he was
gonna have a one-on-one meeting with Torts,
and how he respects that decision from Torts to rip him, and we're like, all right, that's probably not at all what you think.
No, not always thinking, just spewing media bullshit, but he's a reporter. Not gonna hold it against him.
Gotta get your clicks. Don't blame him.
Yeah, and so with that little drama gone, this wasn't as dramatic, but dramatic to the Calder race.
Yep, had a big hit on the Calder race.
Connor Bedard
out 6 to 8 weeks with a fractured jaw.
I definitely it was a clean hit.
I mean, yeah, it is the NHL. Old man yells at cloud, keep your head up, but it is kind of plain and simple. He's going to be one of the best players in this league for years to come, and he's trying to make a play, going 1-on-4, and that's what good players do.
Bobbles the puck, drops his head for a second, and NHL defenseman's going to step up on you.
That's his job.
That's no third-line WHL defenseman back there that you can just kind of dance around.
Nope. Yep, he laid the lumber for sure, and unfortunately, Bedard's out for 6 to 8 weeks now. Now we get a Chicago Blackhawk replacement to the NHL All-Star game, and God knows who that's going to be. So
the whole process, I get kind of fired up about this.
Oh yeah,
I'm not.
I'll let you go.
The All-Star selection process is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
It's bad.
The NBA is at least voting in starters. The fact that Cale Makar, as of right now, is not on the All-Star list, he's obviously going to get voted in. One of the most recognized, arguably the best defenseman this year, him or Quinn Hughes.
100%.
The fact that he's not on the list, and even then voting in a lot of the Toronto guys, I've been looking at the voting polls.
Where is Trevor Moore?
Sorry,
go ahead.
That's a little extreme.
Sorry.
You got John Tavares in there and some of those guys, and they're all ahead of guys. I don't want to prop up the Oilers because I think Leon Draisaitl's getting voted in way too high. I don't think he's had the season that condones a All-Star representation.
Nope.
But Evan Bouchard, he's had
a heck
of a season in the Pacific.
He's been unbelievable. The quarterback in that first power play, he is He's scoring. He's making plays. Like, I 100% think he should get in.
Yeah, he should get it. And as of right now, he's not in, and he's not even looking like he might get in with the votes, and which is ridiculous.
So when it comes to the votes, I'd seen some of the like highest voted people. I love the Hughes brothers. What in the world is Luke Hughes doing at the top of that list?
Dude wasn't even the favorite to win the Calder. I don't even think he's the best defenseman in the Calder. Oh wait, yeah, he is.
Probably.
I think he is.
Mitnikov's close, but it's probably
But
Hughes.
He's
But,
in
like,
a tight race for the Calder, let alone being
One
a
of the
true
best.
all-star.
Yeah, like one of the
When
best.
Evan
defensemen in the league.
Bouchard is
Yeah.
not on that list.
No.
And we've said his name more than enough.
100%.
But there's other guys on
There's
that
other
list
guys, for
that
sure.
have just been.
But like, we gotta stop letting these 16-year-old girls on the internet, man. Like, we gotta block that any.
Looking one?
We gotta block these NHL pages from these
No, it's ridiculous.
teenage girls' lists. This is getting insane. But no disrespect to Luke Hughes. He's obviously
He's had a heck of a
he's
rookie
awesome,
season.
100%. I just
He's
think
gonna
there's
be a
guys.
bona fide
Oh yeah, he's gonna
defenseman.
be very good for years to come. I just think there's guys as of right now and in his early career. I think there's guys better than him so far. So.
Don't worry, he's going to get his looks. As long as he can stay healthy and he continues down this path, he's going to get 10, 15 All-Star games in.
Oh,
if they change the format, maybe.
Yeah,
If they get the best on best. But
yeah. I mean, draft this year, awesome. The skills comp, I think that's pretty fun this year. Player selection, awful. And I don't think they'll ever get it right. It's kind of the same with the NFL. The Pro Bowl has become such a joke. It's just such a nightmare when it comes to it with the fan vote. It's a popularity contest, really.
Well, that and even if you have, I don't mind the fan vote for maybe your last 4 spots, or if you want to vote your starters. Like I kind of like the way the NBA has been doing that.
Vote your starters for sure.
But the fact that each team, and I know it's a money thing, and I know it has
get
to do
it.
with the representation.
Yeah, you got to get all the fan
NHLPA.
bases guys there. It make like I 100% understand. It's just really frustrating when you have guys on really good teams that are producing at a really high level that don't get a sniff because we let the fan vote happen and it's just a popularity contest.
Yeah, there's quite a few guys on a lot of teams that really deserve them. Some that probably are all-stars. I don't know who's coming from Chicago, but I'm guessing that he's not going to be in the top 30 players in the league. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but you're right. The draft is going to be awesome.
Oh, man, I remember being a kid, All-Star Weekend, I'm like, I can't wait to sit up there. I just need a car.
Let me have a car.
He just wants a car. And I'm like, I just can't wait to sit down and watch a draft and watch all my favorite NHL players get drafted. So I think them bringing that back is really fun.
Making a grade school. Going back
to
team
it's so
captains,
awesome. Team captains, you pick your squad. Yeah. I think it's awesome.
And then I also like the new revamped skills comp that they brought in McDavid and kind of had him help out with a lot of the concepts of it. But bringing him in, 8 events, 8 guys just come in best on best, see who's the best all-around player, and just kind of crown a winner. That's just they're competitors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, add a little cash prize on top.
Cash prize.
And hopefully it'll incentivize them a little bit. But that's kind of our recap for what we NHL news. At least.
Little all-star NHL news, everything kind of going around. Perry got reinstated, so that's fun.
Chicago needs them.
Chicago needs a guy.
You're gone right now.
I mean, half of their team's on the IR, so you never know. We could get a little Perry Blackhawks reunion. Probably not, but would be funny. Moving on to kind of away from the NHL news. Obviously, we're getting close to the All-Star break, which means we're kind of getting to the home stretch here.
Halfway point of the season.
I mean, moves are going to be made. Contenders that need pieces.
Yeah.
Obviously, the playoff picture is, you never know. The East race is so tight currently.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, kind of just talk about the playoff picture so far since we're getting close to the halfway point.
Yeah, kind of first episode, we just want to get our predictions out there so we can kind of track them as we go and see how that tracks throughout the rest of the season and as we kind of progress with our podcast. And let's start with the East.
All right, yeah, the East is fun.
The East playoff prediction. I didn't look at your list before this, so I'm hoping we'll see where we agree. I think I got a team a little lower than you would want in the West, but
I think I know exactly what team it is, and I think I agree with you.
Oh, really? That's going to be interesting. Anyways, we'll start in the Atlantic. Top 3, Boston again. Just I think they stay number 1.
Yep. I mean, they started hot, a little bit of a slip and slide closer to Christmas break, but I think they can find their footing again
Yeah.
and kind of ride that one out for sure.
Yeah, and I agree. I think they do too. And then we move on to who do you got in your 2? I got Florida finishing at the 2.
I think so. I think Kachuk's finally fully healed from his broken sternum.
He has looked like a beast the
man.
last couple weeks.
Yeah, I think that Florida team. I think they might give Boston a bit of a run for their money coming
kinda what I
down
was thinking.
into the end there. But yeah, I think Florida kind of stays there. Would be good for
Yeah.
me.
And then I got Toronto as the 3 just because they got their guys.
Yep, they got firepower, and as bad as goaltending may be night in night out, I think they're gonna squeak into the 3 no matter what.
That being said, with that prediction, we got a Toronto-Florida first-round matchup is what we're kind of predicting. Obviously a ways away, but
Yeah.
man, would I love to see Matthew Tkachuk knock out Toronto.
Oh,
Like to
will
them
be
just
fun.
bring in their hitting style and how their
Would be
playoff style of hockey, and the Leafs are soft. I'm a big Leaf hater. I think it's Canada's year to win the cup,
Oh,
and I don't think the Leafs are even. I don't think they even sniffed the second round this year. They got a taste last year, realized they cut into their golf time, and they're just gonna screw
Yeah.
off nice and early. Okay, then we'll go to our top 3 in the Metro.
yeah, it's the Rangers. The Rangers are one, and I think they have a bona fide goalie in Jonathan. I'm just kidding. Igor
Jonathan Quick,
Shesterkin.
Vesna, Sin incoming.
Igor Shesterkin is just very good, and I think they're very deep. Have good
Very
depth.
deep at the goaltending position.
Extremely deep. Very good depth scoring as well. I mean, they have their top guys, but I think Lafreniere is slowly breaking out too. So I think that team kind of brings it
gonna
all
be a
together
force,
again.
yeah.
They're going to be a good squad for sure.
Then my number 2, I got the Hurricanes.
Yeah, the Canes just win.
They find ways to win. Brendan Moore at the helm.
Yeah,
he
he just
gets shit done.
Yep,
And-
runs a bench, and I think that's for sure where that one kind of ends up.
And then I got the Isles sticking around in the 3rd.
I think the Isles stick in the 3rd too. I mean, wrap it up, play some boring Isles hockey.
Yep.
I think that
No one hears about them all year, and then they're going to go into the playoffs. Probably lose first round of the Canes.
just how I think the narrative's boring. They are scoring pretty good this year,
Yeah.
but even they're just again good goalie in Sorokin. So I think that kind of
It's tough to get attention when you're the second best team in New York.
100%.
Then in my first wild card of the East, I got the Philadelphia Flyers.
See, I'm gonna go Tampa.
Ooh,
I think Tampa.
I think Tampa's out.
Really?
Yep.
I think they find their footing after this Christmas break. They probably get to the All-Star break, good refresh, and then they go. I think they're find their way again. They have. I mean, when you have Vasi in that, it's hard to lose. So I think that's those guys find their footing, and
If they sneak into the playoffs, that's
anything can happen with them.
you never
So
know. And then my number 2, I got a little frisky. I went with the Penguins.
really,
I'm going Flyers, Penguins in the wild card spots.
that's awesome. I think Tampa and Philly just switch from right now. I think Philly sticks in the 2. I mean, obviously there's rumblings of the Pens trading Gensel at the deadline, so
Next couple weeks will kind of determine. They're gonna.
that's a
have to
big
really,
piece. I like that take though. That's fun. The
I'm just
Pens
thinking
getting in is fun. I always like the
going to
Pens getting in.
heater. I think they're going to heater.
I love the
decide
Pens.
not to trade Gensel, and if you get those guys into a playoff series, same type of thing. They've got the experience. Anything can kind of happen with them.
100%.
Will be fun, but that puts Devils out.
Yeah, it's this wild card race is weird because I mean, obviously the Devils are dealing with injuries. I mean, they're constantly injured. It's hard to get your footing when you constantly have guys coming into the lineup. So I think they get healthy next year and they find their bearings and get going. But yeah, I think this wild card race is way too tight to be this injured all the time.
I think they're just going to be a little bit on the outside.
I think so. I think they'll be close.
Yeah.
I think they'll be really close. But I think the wild card race ends up between Tampa and Philly for myself anyways.
Also has the Red Wings out. This East is just deep, but the Red Wings are kind of just building.
Yeah, I mean,
right, they're in a transitional phase right
Yeah.
now, where they've got their young guys, but they're still waiting on a couple guys to come up and develop. And now they've had Sandin Pellikka at the World Juniors.
Oh,
he's
just
going to come
light
in
it up.
next year.
Yep.
Probably be unreal. Like the Yzer plan, huge fan of the Yzer plan.
Yep.
He's a beauty.
Who doesn't love it?
Yeah, but that kind of shapes up. Rest of the East teams, not really.
Mhm.
Just is what it is. My Ottawa Senators are just possibly the worst team. But they're just
Not good. No.
a franchise of pure hypocrisy and just mediocrity, and it's it's not a good look for being a Sens fan, and only in my first year being a Sens fan too. Picked them because they're up on the rise, and we're up on the rise, and now there's just no bright spots. There's no. It's tough.
Yeah, it's gotten really minimal for them. I mean, they would be fun. I mean, they got some of the pieces to be fun. And
Huge Claude Giroux fan.
yeah, he's great. I mean, but they just couldn't. They just can't get anything going.
No embarrassing fights and losses. I'm not gonna talk about it. Just makes me mad. I'm thinking about jumping ship. I'll take any recommendations. It's brutal. It's brutal out there in Ottawa, but whatever. They brought in some little bit of change. See how it goes, and I don't think it's gonna be enough, but
Yep.
that's what it is. And then we move to the West, where
The West.
in our household gets pretty heated.
Yeah, there's a bit going on here in the household with the Western Conference, maybe even the Pacific Division.
Yeah, I was
to
gonna
be
say,
exact.
do you want to just leave the Pacific for the end? We'll run through
Yep.
the Central quick. Yeah,
We'll run through the
I think we'll
Central.
get a little- Yep. Okay, so in the Central, Abs. This is where I wanted to see what your pick was. So
You have the Avs at one.
Jets have been cooking. I got the Avs at one.
I still have Jets one. I think they are. Thanks LA for Velarde and I follow. They're just super deep, good scoring,
Yeah.
good on the back end, and they have Connor Hellebuck, and it's hard to beat that guy. So
Yeah.
I think they kind of stay the course and they finish up as the 1 seed.
I mean, I got it as a tight Avs Jets race too, but I got the Avs coming out on top just because the Avs are the Avs.
Yeah.
Not that I think they're going to touch the President's Trophy, just
No.
because I think that they don't want to win the President's Trophy. They know what that history is like of winning the league after winning the President's Trophy. It just doesn't happen. So
Never does.
But strong top two in the Central.
Yeah, I
And
got
then
Colorado as the second.
Yeah, Stars rounding out the third. I think.
I agree.
Yeah, just fairly basic. They're always there.
Yep,
They
they always. I mean, it. They like I can't think of a time where the Stars weren't in the playoffs. So
No, they're
they're just always there. They creep. So
they're almost like Minnie. Minnie was for the last.
yeah, poor Minnie. I mean, they're struggling.
They're
They're struggling.
struggling. They didn't even make it onto like my list at all.
No, I don't
Man,
think
no.
they sniffed my list either.
No. Okay, and then now we move on to the hot topic in our house, the Pacific. For context, our other roommate is a Edmonton Oilers fan, diehard, one of the most diehard Oilers fans I've ever seen.
Yeah,
And
loves them.
Dylan, diehard Kings fan,
Love my boys.
and I just love to root against both because I like to stir shit up over here.
It's hard not to.
It is hard not to.
All right, give me your 1 seed.
I got Van.
Yeah, Van is. I mean, I thought they'd kind of slowly fall out, and
Back-to-back wins in the
they
state
just
of New York.
win.
And,
They just win, man. It's hard to.
no, they got a good squad. Great goaltending. You got Quinn Hughes on the back end. They're Philip Hronek's having a hell of a
Chronics
season.
having a good season. Yeah.
No, they're just them.
Myers, kind
They-
of playing well.
This West has kind of got me excited about a Canadian team winning. I got the Jets, Van. I got the Oilers.
Oilers where?
Oilers 2.
Wow.
Yep.
I still have Vegas. Vegas is just
And I don't mind that.
they just win. So
Vegas has got a really good winning culture.
I have
If you do it
Vegas.
right,
I got Vegas in the 2 spot.
They're just deep, and I like that. I just think Edmonton post Christmas gets hot.
Yeah, I mean they're a good squad,
Yeah, and
and
I
you
think-
hate to admit it as a Kings fan, but man, they
Yeah.
just get stuff done for
Shout
sure.
out Jared helping you out a little bit,
Yeah,
getting them predicting second. That or I predict them second, and they'll probably miss the playoffs because
and who's in the 3
you know
seed
how that
for you?
goes. I got Vegas. Just because I
I
had Oilers beating Vegas, but
have the Edmonton Oilers.
turning on your own team, the disrespect.
I mean, as of late, I can't even sit down and watch that team. It is hard to like. They have all the pieces. I mean,
And they were good. They were hot for a while.
best team on the road, breaking records, tying records. Next thing you know, they are just in the gutter. I mean, it is hard to watch.
Only like was it the 22nd best record against teams above 500 or teams in playoff spots or something like
They
have been
just
struggling
and they
against
have an
opponents.
easy schedule the rest of the way. It's just so frustrating to sit like can't beat the Caps, and then you go into Florida and it's like Florida's a good team, but then you have Florida, you're up 2-1 against Florida tonight, and then they give up a goal with 4 minutes to go, and then they lose with 0.7 seconds left in overtime, and it's like, I mean, you just got to stop the bleeding at some point. Like they've dropped their last 7, whether it's in regulation or overtime. They cannot squeak out a win, and you're just like, when is this gonna stop? Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Edmonton squeaks into the 3, and I have the Kings in the first wild card spot.
Me too. I think just because of their easy schedule, like they're gonna get in. They're a good team. They are, and I don't think anyone else in that West is challenging them. The West is not nearly as deep as the East this year.
No.
Really top heavy though. Huge fan of the Jets. Oilers. I think that it's the year. Canadians get it done. We're getting the Canadian team out of the West. I think.
None of the East though, sadly. So.
No, I don't think Toronto's making it past the first round.
That's fair.
Toronto being mediocre at best.
That's fair.
And then I got the Kraken. Rounding out mine.
I was in a bit of a toss-up between the Kraken and Nashville because I kind of like how Nashville plays, and I think I'm going to lean towards Nashville here. I'm still a bit of a toss-up, but I think I like Nashville squeaking into the 2.
And like we said, a lot of time left in the season, so these predictions probably mute. Really don't mean a whole lot other than a couple of guys who just kind of want to see what they know.
Pretty minimal for sure. I mean, just kind of sitting here shooting shit for sure, But
I think that pretty much wraps up our very first podcast.
That's going to wrap up episode 1.
Yeah.
I mean, we enjoyed Caleb on. He was a good time chatting some women's hockey. Women's hockey's damn fun.
Getting me more excited.
I'm all about it. WHL stuff, obviously. Getting past the deadline, and it's kind of go time for all these teams. So we're going to see how that shapes up throughout the year. Going to keep up with the PW, obviously. Very fun league. And yeah, more NHL stuff to come. And we are trying to line up an interview for next week. No word on it yet, but we will keep the socials updated.
Yeah. This part might get edited out, but as of right now, no confirmation. We're trying to get Roger McQueen of the Brandon Wheat Kings. Possible top 10. Looking at a projected top 10 pick next year. He's one of the funniest guys, as Caleb mentioned. So hopefully we can get him on, and would be nice. But we'll see. We're hoping. We're sitting,
absolutely
twiddling our thumbs, waiting.
Yeah. Well, it's been fun.
It has been fun.
Episode 1 in the books.
Yeah.
We will chat with you guys later.
Yeah.